everyone, Joan Scannell here with our most recent tarot short. Our last tarot short was about the major arcana. This tarot short is also going to be about two aspects of the major arcana, the Fool and the World. Now, when we discussed the majors before, we mentioned that our major arcana, the secrets, are big life lessons. And there were 22 lessons. It's very true, there are 22 lessons, but I like to actually look at it a little bit more like 21 lessons or so. And I feel like the Fool is the catalyst for a lot of them. So that's why I broke this up this way. So I feel like these two cards, the Fool, which is letter 0, and the World, which is 21, are kind of the bookends of the majors. It's where between those are where the lessons lie. You gotta excuse me, I have Chloe down here. Look, I'll show you. Chloe wants to attention here. Here's Chloe. She's giving me, here's Chloe. Say hi, Chloe. All right. Okay. There you go. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so I feel like that they represent beginnings and endings of a cycle. I do think that they can be kind of intertangled. Sometimes, the Fool, obviously, everybody looks at the Fool as this is a beginning, this is a start. But it can also be come off of an ending. It doesn't mean it's just a straight beginning. For instance, what I'm trying to say is endings often bring us new beginnings, and beginnings often come off of endings. So that's where I look at these as the bookends. The Fool can also be a person. It can represent an actual, the individual doing or embarking on the lesson or the activity, or it can be the actual state of mind of the individual. For instance, we might have our Fool being, again, this is right at the beginning of the deck. Sometimes they are at the end of the deck, but I'm going with the more traditional Fool at the beginning of the deck. This is somebody who's the optimist. It's the adventurer. It's somebody who's the dreamer. They're bold. They have plans for big things. There's a certain amount of innocence, and sometimes it's ignorance about the Fool, because they have this courage. Like literally, he's standing on the edge of this cliff, not necessarily looking where he's going. His face is looking up. It's toward his ideals. He needs to be careful where he goes and how he goes, because he could unfortunately end up in a problem, like right off the cliff. The Fool also represents the concepts, the states of being. For instance, instead of being the optimist, it could be optimism. Instead of being the novice, this is the beginner. Instead of being the adventurer, this is adventurous. See the ideas. It can be the actual individual going through the journeys, or it can be the states of being. For the World, I feel the World is more a situation or a state of being. It isn't necessarily a person. I guess it could be, but I don't recognize it like that. The World to me represents completion, leveling up, conclusions, the big transitions in life, or those big rites of passage. Interestingly, when we have those endings and those big rites of passage, it opens us up to new possibilities, which again becomes the Fool. So you can see how these are kind of interchangeable. So when we see these cards, especially when they come together, we might want to recognize that we're asking ourselves, or the person who's sitting with us, what's your next adventure going to be? What have you completed, and what is that leading you on to? Now, this can be in any aspect of life. That's where we'll get into the minors in our next one, but it can have to do with relationships. It can have to do with career. It can have to do with finances. It can have to do with a passion, a dream, a desire, a goal, a bucket list activity. It can be with a change of heart, a way that we're thinking. It can be with a lot of aspects, but we have to ask ourselves, what is that adventure going to be? We might also want to ask, where will it occur? And what I think we have to remember most, and that's why we study the tarot, is what lessons, what experiences, what impacts from the things that we've just completed, be them a positive impact or a challenging impact. How are we going to take that with us, and how are we going to apply that to our next adventure in life? So there you go. Those are the 2 bookends of the majors. There's a lot more to it, but that's a great starting point for you to get an idea of how the Fool and the World kind of play together in the major arcana of the tarot deck. Thank you very much. If you like what you heard, please visit me. I'm at www.joanscannell.com. Thank you.